I'd like to welcome all of you to our I-229, 26th Street, and Southeastern Avenue public meeting. Hopefully all of you received a postcard invitation for this public meeting tonight. So sit back and let's just take a few minutes to talk about this very, very interesting and enjoyable project, actually. Really, why are we here tonight? Our purpose is to review with you what's been done so far in the last 4 years, to update you on what's happening now, and then also to inform you about what's ahead. And at the end, we'll take answer your questions and comments. And I have to add one more person that's here is my daughter and her boyfriend. So the pressure is really on when your daughter comes to a public meeting. So they're sitting in the front row. Unexpected that they came tonight, but thanks for coming. All right, we are going to go through the steps that we took in this project. Really from 2012 to 2015, we're going to talk about what's been done. For 2016, we're going to talk about what's happening now and what's ahead for this project. So that's the framework for this overall brief presentation. First of all, in 2012 is when we started the project, 4 years ago. Our first steps were to gather data, and we took traffic counts, noise levels, that kind of thing. We also held our first public meeting and landowner meeting in the July-August timeframe of 2012. And we gathered feedback from all of you at that time so that we could generate ideas and options. So let's just talk about what we did in 2012. These were the questions we brought to you at the first public meeting. I highlighted a couple of these. This picture is actually looking to the south along I-229. Here's the interchange. One of the questions, can traffic delays be reduced on 26th Street? Can the interchange ramps be improved at Yeager Road? One other question, can we maintain or improve access to Cliff Avenue Greenhouse and the YMC Day Camp? We didn't have answers. We just had questions at our first public meeting. This is now the intersection of Southeastern Avenue and 26th Street. Southeastern Avenue, 26th Street. Some of the questions that I want to highlight or remind you of tonight are, can a bridge be built over the railroad tracks? What happens to Southeastern Avenue if 26th Street is raised over the railroad tracks? Can we improve pedestrian access from 26th Street to the trail system? Again, all questions, no answers. We had boards like this that night, and all of the people that were there helped us to fill those out and try and answer some of those questions. I'm curious, how many people were at that very first public meeting in 2012? Okay, a good number of you. And I know that many of you were faithful throughout the 4 public meetings that we held from 2012 to 2015. So thanks for being a part of this project. But we had no answers at that time. What we did is we took your comments, we reviewed them, and from your feedback, we generated improvement concepts. So that was what we did. All right, let's go to 2013. We came back to you in February, and we showed you those concepts. We also added more options based on your feedback at that February 2013 public meeting, and then we refined and we analyzed and we compared those concept options. So let's touch on the things that we did in 2013. We came to you in February of 2013 with 9 different scenarios, 9 different options at the 26th Street and 229 interchange. This is probably one of the more far out ones. We had a wide variety of different improvement options. Based on the feedback that you gave us at the public meeting, we expanded the number of options to 20. Once we got to that point, it seemed like all the feasible possibilities were exhausted. So that was where we ended up, was 20 different options developed after the public meeting. At the 26th Street and Southeastern Avenue intersection, we came to you with 6 intersection options. And really, we didn't add any more options from feedback that we got from you, but we did make refinements to those various options. So that's what we came to you with at that February of 2013 public meeting. Our next step was really to evaluate, and I don't want you to look at the whole table here, but we used some type of matrix to evaluate. This particular matrix was used to evaluate those 20 different options that we used at the interchange, and the 20 different options are listed along the side here. One of the tools that we use to evaluate these different options with input from all of you. This is actually the matrix that we developed for the intersection. There were 6 different options, and again, we looked at a number of different considerations, and I'll touch on a couple of those later on. But that was one of the tools that we used to evaluate these various options. Okay, in 2014, we came back to you in January. Using those matrices, we worked to develop animations. And you saw over on the table over on my left here, these animations. And I want to, we also prepared an environmental assessment in 2014. That took us the bulk of the year. But if you remember, at that 2014 meeting, we had 3 interchange options that we showed you for animations, and we had 2 intersection options that we showed you in the animations. And we have those running over here on the little projector. We had those on our website. Quite frankly, we invested a significant amount of time and energy and expertise to develop these animations. And I'm sure many of you were able to sit down at your computers and download them from the website or watch them from the website. What we found, though, was that these animations really helped all of us, you folks and us on staff, to understand what each of these improvement options entailed. And by the time we got to developing these animations, we had whittled the number down of feasible options from 20 at the interchange to 3. That's all we really carried forward with the animations. And at the intersection, we only carried 2 options into the animation phase. Okay, that was what happened in 2014. 2015, we came back to you at the start of the year again, and we showed you what we anticipated was the preferred option. We got feedback from all of you, and I wouldn't say we had unanimous support, but overwhelming support for what we had recommended as the preferred option. We took that, and then we received approvals from state and federal authorities, and that then became the selected option. And I'll show you a picture of that in just a second. We also conducted surveys in 2015, surveys on the aspect of like topography surveys, and we also began our detailed design work. All right, this is the preferred option, and just as a quick reminder, this is exactly what we had at that 2015 meeting. We had a loop here in the southwest quadrant of the 26th Street interchange, and of course we had our bridge over the railroad tracks at Southeastern Avenue. We brought this to you in 2015 as a preferred option and moved forward with it as the selected option. Now, why did we do that? The real basis for choosing this, really it did accommodate all modes of traffic for the existing conditions and for the future conditions. And in this case, we look to year 2035 traffic conditions is really what we're looking at from a traffic perspective. It also was the option that minimized overall the different impacts that we had. And we did certainly consider cost. This option did a very good job of being cost effective from a construction and maintenance perspective. So all of those things were big factors in why we selected this as our preferred option. This is actually the final signature page of our approval from, as you can see there, South Dakota Department of Transportation and Federal Highway Administration. This was signed just about a year ago, May of 2015, and this allowed us to move forward into the detailed design phase of the project. The actual title for this document, or for this signature page, was the Federal Highway Administration Finding of No Significant Impact. The bottom line of it is that this option had the least impacts of all of them and was really the best option for this project. So from there, we moved into the detailed phase. I'm sure many of you saw the HDR survey truck out there over the last, well, for sure in the fall and even during the winter. Infrastructure Design Group, they had a survey truck out there last fall also. So I'm sure all of you saw those trucks out there. Okay, let's go to 2016. I hope you're seeing that we're just doing a logical progression of where we're going, where we've been, and where we're going on this project. Here we are tonight in May, updating all of you on the project. The next thing that you'll see is soil borings that will be done, and we will continue our design plans. We will meet with landowners, and we will also begin to acquire properties. Let's look at this map here. This is our foundation for our detailed design. The project has actually been split into two pieces. You can see the interchange project is everything that is west of the Cliff Avenue Greenhouse driveway. The intersection project is everything that's east of the Cliff Avenue driveway. Did I say intersection on that? I meant interchange if I said intersection. Okay. Although the project has been split into two teams for design purposes, the intent is that it will all still be constructed at the same time, that there will be no delay from one project to the other for construction purposes. The interchange project is actually being headed by the South Dakota Department of Transportation, and assisting them is Infrastructure Design Group with the design of the project. The intersection project is being headed by the City of Sioux Falls, and HDR is assisting the city with the design of the project. And really, because of the scale and magnitude of this project, it does take two very capable teams to actually accomplish the design of this. Okay, this is what you're going to be seeing out in the project area during the summer. This is the Department of Transportation drill rig. They will be taking soil borings near the surface and very deep below the surface to help us with the design of the various features of the project. Okay, 2017. We will continue to meet with landowners. We will continue to update the website. Hopefully all of you have found that useful throughout this process. We'll continue to prepare the design plans, and we'll continue to acquire properties. Now, I have some interesting pictures here I think that you'll like. This is probably the biggest part of the design, is the bridge. Actually, two bridges. This is a picture of the existing bridge over the Big Sioux River. There you see 26th Street and Southeastern Avenue. The existing bridge is 300 feet long and 53 feet wide. Here is our rendering of the new bridge. This bridge will be 650 feet long and 95 feet wide. Much, much bigger bridge. And the big factor is we have to go up and over the railroad tracks. So that's why this thing has to be quite a bit bigger, plus to carry more traffic lanes. We have another bridge on this project, and that is the bridge on 26th Street over Interstate 229. The existing bridge there is about 57 feet wide. And what we will be doing with that bridge is not necessarily making it longer, but just making it wider. We will be adding about 55 feet to the width of that existing bridge, basically to carry more traffic lanes. That's why. Well, what are some of the things we look at with bridge design? One thing is different types of railings. Maybe different types of patterns that we might put on the concrete of the bridge. And we'd like to use some different color schemes on the bridge as well, so that it maybe isn't just your typical gray concrete boring bridge, sorry to say. And we're also looking at different pier options. These are the structures that support the bridge, and we're looking at different options for these structures. And actually, I put 2017, but this could be 2016, 2017, 2018. I mean, it's an ongoing process during these 3 years, essentially. Well, we have a lot of retaining walls on this project, as you've seen on the animations. This is actually one of the renderings or animation clips that we have. So far, we've shown just a dark red for these retaining walls. Well, maybe it might be okay to try some different patterns on these walls. Maybe even, and this, by the way, is from Sertoma Avenue on the west side of Sioux Falls. Maybe it might be okay even to look at some kind of murals on these walls. This actually is from the 69th Street project, just a couple of miles south of 26th Street, very close to where we're at here. And if we really want to get crazy, we could do something like that. And as a follow-up for all of you, we need you to drive around Sioux Falls and find out where this picture was taken, okay? Well, really, our whole goal with the bridge, with the retaining walls, is to make it fit with the parkway. The City of Sioux Falls has just a phenomenal resource in the Big Sioux River Parkway system. And this bridge, the retaining walls will be very visible from the parkway system. Every part of this project, I think, will be utilized by all of us and our descendants for 50, 75, maybe 100 years. So if we can, let's take some time and make it pleasing and something that looks nice. And of course, along with that, we always have to consider the cost as well. Now, the person that is going to be basically leading the charge on the different aesthetic treatments, maybe the different mural types, is John Jacobson. And John, can you raise your hand back there? If you have any ideas, that's the person that we would really like you to give those ideas to. Lots of neat things we can do, but we still have to be cost effective with it. All right, the Burlington Northern Railroad. We're going to, well, hopefully eliminate that. How many of you have been in that lineup of cars as the train went by? I've been sitting there many a time, and I'm sure all of you have been there too. Afterwards, it will look something like this, where the train will zip by underneath and we will be driving on a bridge over the railroad tracks. This picture is actually from the 57th Street project, again, just a few miles south of 26th Street. But there is a very rigorous process to receive BNSF approvals. This little screenshot that we took was from a submittal that we made to BNSF just about a month ago. Certainly they are very much in favor of putting a bridge over the top of the railroad tracks, but still they have a very rigorous review process that we will take a good part of 3 years to get through. All right, and then 2018. We will come back to you with another public meeting, and if necessary, we'll come back sooner to you with a public meeting. We'll finish our design plans, and we will begin construction and finish construction of a new park. It's called Rotary-Norlin Park, and this is a sketch of it. Really, the key here is that when we start construction of 26th Street, we will sever the connection to the Big Sioux River Bike Trail. That's the problem, and we have to have a connection to the Big Sioux River Bike Trail before we start construction of 26th Street. This new park is on the west side of the Big Sioux River. Here's Interstate 229, here's 26th Street. This is just a bunch of basically overgrown trees here, and then there's a canoe launch. This is where the relocated Rotary Park will be, and this will be the new access to the Big Sioux River Trail. That has to be in place before we begin 26th Street construction and sever that access. So that's why it will be built in 2018. 2019 is when we forecast construction start. So then you will see paving operations, retaining wall construction, a lot of bridge construction going on out there, and what we all look forward to are the construction signs. Unfortunately, a necessary evil for building a new roadway when we're very close to existing roadways. We've got a couple of slides to illustrate some of our thought processes so far. All right, here we've got 26th Street, 229 Southeastern Avenue, the same kind of map you've been seeing. Our philosophy throughout this traffic maintenance design was that we would maintain 2 lanes of traffic on 26th Street. Now that doesn't mean 2 lanes in each direction like we have now. It will be 1 lane in each direction. And that was an outgrowth of feedback from all of you, that we definitely needed to maintain 1 lane of traffic in each direction on 26th Street throughout the construction time frame. All right, couple of items just to point out here. We'll first build the south half of 26th Street. This is a section view right at the I-229 and 26th Street bridge, where the traffic will be using the existing bridge, and we will be building the new bridge right beside it. And you saw that in one of those pictures previously. One thing I also want to point out is that Southeastern Avenue, south of 26th Street, will be closed during Phase 1 construction. This is where the new bridge over the Big Sioux River will go, right smack at the middle of the river. Here we have the existing bridge, and here is the new bridge. Again, it's higher at that location and quite a bit wider. So in this Phase 1, we'll just be building 1/2 of the new bridge. Traffic will be on the existing bridge, and we will be removing a part of the existing bridge in Phase 1 construction. The toughest place for construction is just on the east side of 26th Street, on the east side of Southeastern Avenue, where 26th Street gets raised up by 25 feet roughly. So how do we do that? Here is existing 26th Street. We will essentially narrow it to 1 lane in each direction, and we will be building a large embankment for the future 26th Street. We'll have to put some kind of retaining wall or some kind of an engineered fill to fit everything into that roadway section. That will be the most challenging part of the construction process. During Phase 1 construction, Yeager Road will be closed for maybe not all of it, but for certainly parts of Phase 1. Phase 2, we just have one slide here, no sections, but what we want to point out here is that we'll be building the north half of 26th Street during Phase 2. Southeastern Avenue north of 26th Street will be closed, and all of the traffic will be on the new lanes of 26th Street that were just built. So that's our general concept with the maintenance of traffic during construction. Actually, we are not 100% certain on how long this will take to build. We are waiting for this geotechnical analysis where they'll go out and take the soil borings, and we'll get recommendations for geotechnical work. And also we intend to meet with contractors to determine how is the best way to actually build this over a period of time, and what kind of a time period are we looking at. So we do not have the answer for the overall time frame. All right, this is again how I took you through this process. Hopefully it was helpful for you to see what's been done, what's happening now, and what's ahead. And we have just this slide here. If you have any general questions, these are the contact people that we listed in the postcard that went out to you. The website is also still active. Hopefully all of these animations, all of the presentation items, and all of the boards that you see around the gym will be on the website by the end of the week. So you can look at them and download them. Our intent is to update the website on a bi-monthly basis. So sometimes it might just be a couple of sentences, but that's our main mechanism of keeping you up to date with our progress on this project. Okay, hopefully this was helpful for you to get you caught up to speed on what's going on with this project.